Congratulations on your purchase of a Cosmo 2.0 Torque from Magnum Bikes. This bike is a great low-step version of one of our best-selling bikes, the Cosmo 2.0, with upgrades like a torque sensor, which make it even better. The assembly is pretty simple and most of the tools are included. Let's get into it. First thing you'll need is a cutting tool to get into the box and then to remove all the packaging material. If you have a friend or a partner, you could get some help removing the bike from the box. You could each grab an end and lift, but you can also just cut open the box on each corner and fold it open, which is a pretty good way to do it too. So that's the way I'm gonna choose to do mine. And you'll see that then the box just opens up for you. And voila, there is your new Cosmo 2.0 Torque. So this first step, just remove all the packaging, zip ties, foam, and get the box out of the way and set out your tools and we'll get assembling. Once you have everything unpackaged, you want to make sure that all of the accessories and parts came with your bike. You should have a front wheel with disc rotor and axle hardware on it, a front fender with stays and 2 black eyelets. You have a toolkit in a black zippered bag, which has the wrenches you'll need. It should also have your water bottle mount bolts in it. And then you have a charger box. And in addition to that, you also have your owner's manual, assembly manual, and here you have a QR code for a free front carrier basket if you register your warranty. This front carrier basket mounts to the front here and is super versatile, and it's a free gift once you register your warranty. So definitely do that if you like carrying things. And your assembly manual and owner's manual has all of these steps and detailed instructions to refer back to as well. So keep that handy just in case you need it. You also have a left and a right pedal, and of course your charger box and a rear reflector inside there. Let's get into it. Get the bike on a hard surface and it should stand up on its own on the fork legs and on the rear wheel. Then I'm going to grab the largest of the Allen wrenches and I'm going to loosen the front plate of this stem. We're going to mount our handlebar. Then let's put our handlebar in place, and if you need to rotate the display mount, you can. It slides on the handlebar so that you can get to all the hardware. And then I'm just going to slide my faceplate there, and I'll kind of hold it there with my thumb. You can start these bolts by hand if you want, or with the tool, whatever seems easiest. At first, don't tighten them all the way down. Just get them started, and then we'll tighten them in a diagonal pattern just to get even tension on the handlebar. Next, let's prepare our front wheel to install on the fork. You'll want to back out the axle nuts a little bit, actually almost all the way, to give yourself space to slide the fork over the axle. And you want to make sure that these washers come with the axle nut too. They go on the outside of the fork. The disc rotor goes on the same side as the disc caliper. Before we install that though, we want to remove the plastic spacer that goes between the brake pads where the rotor will go. Then you should be able to pick up the bike with the stem and slide the front wheel into the fork, being mindful that the disc rotor slides in between the brake pads, and gravity should help you seat it. Make sure that these washers are on the outside, and then you can hand tighten. Gravity should help you make sure that the wheel is all the way up in the dropouts of the fork. I'll hand tighten those, then you can kickstand the bike, which will make the rest of the assembly much easier. Now grab your 15mm wrench and let's tighten down our axle nuts. These axle nuts can be quite tight, so as tight as you can get them with this little wrench would be just about right. Definitely don't want your front wheel coming off. Make sure your front tire looks centered in your fork and that both of those washers are snugged up inside the dropouts. And now let's move on to the front fender. The fender is relatively simple. It will use the same wrench. You'll remove a 5mm bolt from behind here on the fork. It's on your brake arch. Oops. That 5mm bolt will go through this tab. So I just slide my fender up on the tire. You can start this by hand to make sure you don't cross thread it. As with most bolts, if it's difficult, stop, back it out, and try again so you don't cross thread it. Your next smallest size Allen wrench will remove these two fender stay bolts. The plastic fender eyelet goes on the outside, and your bolt threads through that. These you don't want to over tighten since this fender eyelet is made of polycarbonate plastic. It could crack if you go too tight. So just a nice firm hold. At this point you can take note of if your fender is straight or if it's rubbing on the wheel. And if you need to, you can adjust these eyelets by loosening this bolt, and the fender stay can slide in and out of the eyelet to get a good fit that's nice and symmetrical and not rubbing. The headlight actually mounts up here to the display stand. And there's one bolt that runs all the way through the display stand. You can see the headlight has a hole here. I'm just going to slide that between my display stand and thread the bolt through. And at first, it will seem like the light is it's not wide enough to fit here, but as you tighten this bolt down, it will pinch together the display stand and it will hold it quite nicely. And if you stabilize the front wheel, then you can move the handlebar so that everything is straight. I'll just tighten one down slightly firmly and then go to the other pinch bolt, kind of like we alternated bolts on the faceplate. That way we get nice even tension. Those will be sufficiently tight when you hold the front wheel with your leg and try to turn your handlebar and it doesn't move. That's tight enough. Next, you'll want to take a look at your pedals. There's a left and a right. And if you look on the pedal spindle right here, there's an L on the left and an R on the right. And that's according to the rider's perspective. So the right pedal is going to go on the chain side of the bike, right where the right sticker is on this crank. And that one actually turns righty-tighty. These you definitely want to start by hand. Once you get them going and you know they're in correctly, then you can tighten them down nice and tight with the wrench. The left pedal is actually opposite threaded. So if you're on that side of the bike, you'll notice it actually goes lefty-tighty. These are our 15mm. Once you get them going, let's just get them nice and tight. And pedals you want to be as tight as you can get with that 15mm wrench. At this point, we'll set our keys free. They're zip tied to the handlebar. The bike comes with two keys. I would separate them, keep one in a drawer in the house, and then put the other one, on your keychain. The key isn't needed to start the bike. It's just there to get the battery out of the frame. There's a keyhole on this side. You twist and pull up, and your battery can come out. That's to keep your battery safe from thieves, and then also to keep it stored inside where it's not too cold, hot, or wet. Especially if you live in a place where it's cold during the winter, you'll want to remove your battery to bring it in during the cold months. It's nice for bike racks too. It's a lot easier to put your bike on a bike rack if you remove the 9 or 10 pound battery. Your battery does have an indicator on the side here. If you push, you can see how charged it is. It also has one 3-pin unique charging port for the battery, and then on the other side you'll see there's a USB charger for a USB port for charging a phone or any other kind of accessory. It's a good idea to remember to close these ports. That way if you're riding in the rain or you go through a puddle, you don't get water inside your USB or your battery charging port. And make sure not to lose your keys. At this point you'll want to power on your bike as well and just make sure that all of the elements work. Our edge of the display here, it has a power icon on it. Press and hold that and the bike will boot up. You have a horn button here To turn on your headlight, you're going to press and hold the up arrow, and that will turn on your tail light as well. The front fork has a lockout and has a preload adjustment. So lockouts are used if you don't want your fork moving a lot when you're on a steep uphill, but you do want it to move over bumps and curbs. Then you can adjust it accordingly. That's this blue lever on the right. And the lever on the left says preload on it. That stiffens up the spring depending on your body weight. Turning it to the right will compress the spring and make it a little bit tighter for your liking. You can test your throttle, your brakes, and go for a ride.